Good morning, if you want to call it that. Let's sum up the latest immigration ICE news dealing with churches and Christians. These stories were in the news during the past week. First, let's look at July 28, 2025, in the Los Angeles Times opinion section titled, "I Fled Persecution in Iran." ICE enforcement here today reminds me of Tehran. An Iranian Christian refugee writes that ICE enforcement tactics in the U.S. mirror the religious persecution they escaped in Iran, especially terrifying to fellow Iranian Christians facing detention and deportation. Families lose jobs tied to humanitarian parole abruptly revoked, and many live in constant fear. The piece portrays ICE operations as undermining religious freedom and punishing those fleeing faith-based persecution. Next is July 30th, 2025, in World Relief News, titled, "From the Pulpit to the Capitol, a Pastor's Mission to Defend His Congregants Detained by ICE." A pastor works in Washington to defend Iranian Christian congregants detained by ICE, describing scenes of panic attacks as immigration officers led husbands away from their families. The story emphasizes the church's role in advocating and speaking truth to power. It highlights ICE's direct targeting of those seeking sanctuary in church communities. Third, we have an August 5th, 2025 piece in Public Witness News titled, "When Trump Deports Jesus and Other Christians." This piece exposes a pattern of ICE raids on pastors, churches, and Christian communities, showing how theological leaders and congregants are being singled out. It frames individual stories as part of a systematic moral crisis under current immigration policy. The tone conveys urgent alarm within faith circles witnessing enforcement encroach on religious spaces. Next is on August 4th, 2025, with Christian Broadcasting Network News, titled, "ICE Arrests Lead to Huge Chilling Effect on Latino Churches, Iranian Christian Asylum Seekers." ICE arrested Pastor Daniel Fuentes Espinal, a longtime Honduran pastor serving a Latino evangelical church in Maryland, for overstaying his visa, prompting protests and sparking fear that congregations would no longer meet out of concern for their safety. Church networks report up to a 40–50% drop in Sunday attendance as Latino congregants avoid worship services to escape potential raids. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, Iranian Christian asylum seekers were arrested in front of their pastor, leading him to stage a hunger strike in protest and describing a trauma that echoed their persecution in Iran. Last one comes to us on August 4 to 5, 2025 in Newsweek, titled, "Priest's Daughter Detained by ICE." Premier Christian News reports that Yansu Go, the daughter of an Anglican priest, was arrested by ICE at a visa hearing in New York on July 31st, despite her visa reportedly valid until December 2025. Faith leaders decry the raid as immoral and unjust. Newsweek coverage confirms she was held for 5 days and released, raising serious due process concerns. Advocates point to the chilling effect on religious workers and their families.